Matia, Veronica, great seeing you here. Thanks so much for joining us. Before we start our chat today, just briefly tell me who you are and what you do. Matia, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Matija Kadanec. I'm CEO of Wezeo Product Studio, and I'm here to find strategic partnerships and help fintechs implement AI and digital products into their architecture.
Thank you, Matia. Veronica.
Hi everyone, so my name is Veronika Petran Radobicka, and I lead the expansion in the Nordics of the whole Adventures group, but I'm also leading expansion of Wezeo itself. So I live in Copenhagen, we have office there. I'm quite often also here, but of course today is special because we are doing many activities, many partners from our group also came. So I'm enjoying it.
All right, one of the things that I find most interesting about your company is that you have integrated vertically a school, a digital platform, an R&D capability. Tell me a little bit, where did that idea come from?
Well, it took years. It took more than decades. Our partners, the original one who established first company as Wezeo, they started strategically preparing the ecosystem for it, the background. And also then we joined and we understood also it was a strategic decision that we wanted to wait for the results. We wanted to make the whole background for the companies, for the tech-driven companies, which can be built with the purpose and emerge from that.
No, it's about delayed gratification and discipline. So we chose that route. I don't think it's something that's not replicable, but it's certainly something that's harder to do than just throw in the capital for hiring and for finding talent that way. So it's really about discipline and waiting for the results and for the talent to grow.
All right, Matia. Now, most companies first, they have an idea, they build a prototype, they seek for investment, and they find a talent. You seem to have flipped that model upside down. You first find the talent, you develop the talent, and get the talent to develop the products. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about how that works.
Yeah, it's certainly not easy, but at the end of the day, developing the talent brings in way more loyalty and way more know-how by default than just hiring someone. So it's really about building the culture first and then integrating it into the development and technology process rather than trying to headhunt and hire from the market. And it also, of course, requires way less capital than somebody might think to really educate people and get them on board to your company through education programs and partnerships. So it's I would say cheaper, but of course longer process, and it requires a lot of patience.
Tell me a little bit more about the retention of talent. When you develop them, how likely are they to stay part of the group and develop solutions for the group?
So they are very likely to stay. So within our educational portfolio and the programs, we have 88% who stays in the ecosystem. But also that's not really the only reason why we are doing that. We are doing it because of the purpose. Like we want to bring this positive disruption to change towards better what doesn't work. And that's also education, because we started doing in the C region. And the C region public education doesn't work that well. We are aware of that. Many companies from the private public sector are aware of that. But we took the initiative, we started doing that. And of course, if you give the opportunity early on, if you see the potential in already high school students, none of the other company does that. They are not willing to give them their patience to work with them for next 5 years. Then of course, they give us back in this loyalty.
Right.
But that's not what we expect first. Like we want to also do it with the broader purpose.
Yes.
Well, what seems like we are also succeeding quite well.
And when you invest this much time and resources into it, you build an ecosystem that has so many opportunities that it basically doesn't make sense for people to leave, because when they, for example, graduate in seniority or want to start their own business, the ecosystem already has a place for them and they can do their own spin-off or their own company or manage their own team. So even like career breaks or career switches are doable in our ecosystem because of what we build with the patients.
But it's true. But it's true that they like leave geographically, so they move actually even to here, like to Scandinavia, when they finished high school in the sea region. But we are supporting them. We are even like motivating them to do that, to go to the best university if they want. But they already have that ecosystem around from us, which supports them, and many times they still stay connected.
It's a real revolutionary model. Now, Dalinora, you describe Dalinora as a tech fin company as opposed to as a fintech company. Tell me what's the difference and why does that matter?
Yeah, it is actually our motto right now with fintechs. We say we do tech fin, not fintech. And it's a historical thing because, for example, one of our early partners in CE region, which is right now one of the biggest players in robo-advising in Central Europe, they actually came to us when they had very little money, and they were the fin side and we were the tech side. But thanks to our technology and the innovation, which, let's be honest, the technology will always be in front of or it will lead, and then legislation follows.
Yes.
So right now, for example, that partner is signed under many legislations in CEE region, mainly for like digital onboarding, ID verification in online applications. So that's one of the main things that we try to follow the technology, and then the legislation kind of catches up instead of just conforming the technology to what's possible right now with the legislation and with the finance world.
Yeah,
But we still, of course, regulations and legislation is a challenge, so we need to face with that. But it's on our whole philosophy. Then I look and we look as a group on the fintech and also other segments through the tech lens.
Yes. All right. And then I guess the obvious question is, we have a dog here. We have a robot dog, which is part of, I guess, the leading with tech, right?
Yes.
Tell me more about what does the dog show? Why is it that it's here? And what skills do you think are transferable from doing something like with robotics to what you're trying to do with the other companies?
Yeah, it has a few parallels. The one obvious one is that we want to show that software can have a physical form or can be transformed into something that we can see physically move around in space. That's the obvious one. The second one is that to show that software is so versatile, either in fintech or in other industries, that it can be implemented into something that you wouldn't think of at first, right? So, for example, this robot has the same technology for OCR and for face scanning that we use in our products to onboard clients into fintech applications, right? So, it's really a nice and obvious parallel to have him here.
Basically, the same AI brain which is used in Dalinora is also used in this robot dog.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me ask about Dalinora. So Dalinora isn't live yet, right?
No. Yeah.
But you've already secured one of the largest investments in the region. And how did you go about convincing investors to put money behind a company that is not yet live?
So to be very frankly speaking, we are very tight and close discussions, but the final signature hasn't been done yet. Most likely will be done soon. But why? So we convinced them, or like why they were interested in us, because they saw it as an innovation through the technologies, which they couldn't get in that scale and in that pace as Dalinora would be able to bring to them. And from our perspective, is basically we already de-risk it as an adventure group, which invested in the first phase, which was the most risky. We already proved that also we put the skin in the game, and we were searching for the strategic partner, not only a financial investor. And that's also the reason why we're starting to talking now about Dalinora here, because we know that it will take time, and in order to come with Dalinora here, we would like to do the same. So to find partner will be also strategic one as a bank or asset manager.
Very good. Now, last question. You talk about entrepreneurship with purpose. You already mentioned this before. Why is that an important part of the culture of adventures and everything that you're trying to do? Where does the purpose lie in? Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So first things first, it is not an easy thing to do. It is basically balancing the purpose with business viability, and of course the main reason for doing business is making money or making profit, right? That's the definition of the company.
Yes.
But we try to really have this scale balanced in the middle. And sometimes that means investing in the talent, for example, or in the technology without really having that business result. But then what usually happens is that the business result quickly follow up. And the second part is that what's purpose, or like what's impact. We build with impact, and impact is not just us, for example, making money or changing people's lives, but it's spread across the people who are building the product. So them having know-how, learning, educating. Also the users who use the product should do more than just have the benefit of using. So for example, in Dalinora, the main mission is literally written in the prompt of the AI agent is to make as much money for the client as possible. So this is one part of the impact.
And to democratize the wealth management in the broader way.
Yes, so that's one part of the impact, and the other is, for example, the wonderful companies here can benefit from the infrastructure that we build that allows, for example, Dalinora or other AI agents to interact with people's finances and really spread that impact along. But it always comes back to that delayed gratification and discipline of building something through a long time and spreading that impact from education to the end customer.
Right. Okay, now just a last question. We're here at the end of the day here at Stockholm Fintech Week. Tell me, what's been your key takeaway from this conference?
Well, it was amazing. The vibe and energy was really packed. I enjoyed through the whole day. And the key takeaway, well, that's basically I already confirmed what we learned within the last year and a half when we started expanding here, that it takes time to gain the trust, and you need to really be present in the communities to be visible and to be willing to build a relationship with the local community, with the local partners, and to bring them along with you, not to be single player. That's a lot like what is Nordics around. And of course that we proved, it seems to be based on the dialogues and conversation we had, that people want to do that with us. So hopefully we will follow up after that.
Thank you, Veronica. Any takeaways from you?
Yes, sorry, I was just networking the whole time, so my head is filled. But for me, the main takeaway is that even though Nordics and Nordic countries take regulations very seriously and are way ahead, for example, in regulations compared to CEE, they still hate it and they are still willing to change and adapt, and that's a very good confirmation for me that we are entering the right market and talking with the right people.
Yes, well, it's been wonderful having you here. It's great that you brought the dog. Thank you very much. It's a sensation wherever he goes, people follows. And thank you very much for joining us. We hope you join us again next year.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.